Welcome back to Education Vanguard. I'm Justin Hardman. In this episode, you'll hear two conversations once again from our FAISE Asia Pacific Conference in November 2025. The first is between FAISE Committee Chair Carlos Galvez, who sits down with Nick Haywood, an educator, rising star keynote speaker at the conference, and founder of Change. Nick takes us on a journey from his roots as a sporty kid in Tasmania to his 18-year career in outdoor education, and finally to his current role working with elite national teams, corporate leaders, and schools. The second is between FAISE committee member Sarah Cole, who sits down with rising star speaker Dr. Wenstrom from Singapore American School. Dr. Wenstrom shares what it really takes to build a culture of well-being for employees. One of her hats, the Employee Wellness Coordinator at SAS. She started small but dreaming big, from teacher-led wellness to community partnerships. Both of these are practical, hopeful lessons. Over to you all.
All right, everybody, welcome to this episode. We're here at FAISE at the moment after a day and a half of incredible activities. I am Carlos, part of the FAISE committee, and today we have a very special person in my life, and we couldn't be more grateful to have Nick Haywood here with us today. Hey, Nick.
Carlos, thanks for having me, mate.
How you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
How you feeling about the conference so far?
There's been, look, I said it yesterday, but there's been great energy, lots of cool ideas, and I think the connection bits just run true. You get to meet heaps of people and, just bounce off each other. So I'm feeling good.
Yeah. Awesome. And yesterday you energized us at the end of the day with an incredible keynote presentation. But I want to talk to you about three things today. I want to talk to you about your past, your present, and your future. And we don't have as much time to go in depth, but I want to hear how you got involved with health and fitness and education, and then what is it that you're doing now, and then where do you see yourself in a year or so?
Yeah, good. This bit of a this is your life. The past, I was always a sporty kid, so that kind of organically happened, and I played basketball at a pretty good level as a kid, and I was in the Institute of Sport, and so it was just a huge part of my life. My sisters, my mum and dad, all active as well. And so it was basketball and surfing growing up, and being on the coast and on the court was like a beautiful marriage, and it allowed me to be really balanced, I think, as a person. I had some really good role models as a kid. I mentioned my dad, my uncles as well, but I had some really great PE teachers. And I think for a lot of us in this industry, as in the PE world, we've had a good PE teacher or a good coach or something in our lives, and I definitely had that. I also loved the fact that I had some bad coaches. And they're the ones that I think about a lot now, like, what would I have done different? It's like the reverse role model. Right. Reverse role model thought. And then I just randomly, didn't know what to do after year 12, so I went to college, university, just because my friends were there, and we did human movement, and my lean was always outdoor education. So then when I came out of university, I travelled for a few years, bounced around the world. I was in a backpack with my mates, which was great. Which is why my company is called Change, in fact. I'm the H in Change.
Okay.
The C is Cookie and the G is Gillum. Like, they're two of my best mates, and we travelled and lived together and went through really heavy stuff, really fun stuff, and we still talk every week. And this is 20 plus years ago, and so that's why Change is why I'm called Change. And that's why the capitals in my thing. To fast track a little bit, after university, I got a job as a outdoor education teacher at the Don College in Tasmania, and I was there for 18 years.
Wow.
Lots of travelling, I didn't really have a classroom, it was more teaching out of a tent or in the field or in the ocean. And I spoke about it yesterday, but at that point I realised connection was way more important than the X's and O's and the content stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that's the past, and it's sprungboard my wife and I into a thought of, let's go overseas and see what's going on. We had some friends teach overseas, and then we got offered a job at a school with you. And so right now.
Yeah, just when you named your company Change, you named it after your friends. Do you guys work together, or is it just the inspiration of all those great times?
No, we don't work together yet, and we might not. They're both in their own worlds. They know that I'm doing this, and they help me out a lot. We talk all the time.
Yeah.
But no, it's just me.
Awesome. So the now for you is you're a full-time PE teacher, but you talk about connections. You've made so many connections already that the phone keeps ringing.
Yeah.
And so you're at this limbo of you will be leaving us next year to pursue this full-time And so how are you balancing everything right now with what you're doing?
Yeah, I just came out of a session where my punchline or the bookend was about balance as a leader. And we know that when you're a balanced leader, you're a better teacher and a better coach. And the metaphor, the analogy I gave was about if you have an argument with your wife and you don't fix it and you go to school, you kind of have a bit of a rough day because you're still hanging on to what's happened.
Yeah, been there.
Yeah, I think we all have. And the juggling act at the moment is just, we get through it by just really clear communication. And like my wife, she's an Ironwoman and a triathlete, so she's training really hard.
Yeah.
And we've got 2 little kids. We're really lucky that we have a great nanny.
Yes.
And it's super helpful. And the community at our school in Vietnam, SSIS, is once again incredible. We have people that help out with the kids and whatever. But the time difference with my business allows me to get up early or do something later at night after the kids are gone to bed. So I try my best not to have any crossover and compromise, and practice the bits that I preach, like putting the phone away when I come home. So when I come home, I'm full Lego mode or full in the pool or wrestle or whatever, and I leave that stuff alone. I'm lucky that my brain's, as I think you've got to know since you've known me, I have so many ideas and stuff, but I'm pretty good at reading the room, so I don't really plan too much about like my lessons. It's a bit different because I teach year 11s and 12s, so I don't spend time at home planning for the next day.
Yeah.
I'm just, okay, we're in a climbing unit. I'll just have enough good warm-up stuff in my brain that I'll spot something like a couple of sheets of paper and I can create a full lesson out of the 2 sheets of paper, or I just use some tennis balls and then blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it helps me with balance, to round off your question. I'm confident enough in myself and my activities and my relationships that I know that I can do anything, anywhere, at any time with the group of people because they already trust me, the students I'm talking about. Right. It allows me to walk into the room a bit fearless, if you like, and vulnerable myself. Being a dad's the trickiest bit, and this will resonate with all the parents and everyone that flies around, but as I fly to if I go back to Australia to work with a sporting team, it's out on whatever it is, even if it's an Aikido lesson or
the moments.
A moment.
Yeah.
So that's prompted this move as well, that if I was to stay in Vietnam and keep doing everything, something's got to give.
Yeah.
And so the opportunity is too good right now because I've got a foot in the door with the national team.
Amazing.
Got an eye on the Olympics and the World Cup.
Wow. So that's going into your future, right? So your company is called Change, and you have a website address, change. Or is it Nick Haywood?
It's nickhaywood.com.
Okay, awesome. Nickhaywood.com. And if I go into that website, what can I find?
You'll find a little bit of history of the story that I just told you, why it's called Change, and a little bit about just what I do in terms of the framework that I've created with 5 pillars about what I believe is the essential bits of being a good leader in front of people. And so this is for coaches, for teachers, for parents.
Yeah.
But also I'm working with like captains of sporting teams, and it's almost like that. The leadership from within that's the gold as well, right? If you've got enough good leaders in your team as a coach, you can sit back and you can watch the magic happen. So you find that stuff on the website.
Cool.
There's a tool on there that a friend at SSIS, Lennox Meldrum, helped me build called the Compass.
Yeah.
I don't love it.
Work in progress?
But it's a work in progress, but it has some good results. When you get on there, you do 50 questions and it tells you which element out of my framework you're not so great at.
Oh, that's awesome.
So you just get a snapshot of yourself. It might be like, actually, I need some work on the collaboration bit. And then I suppose the hope going forward is that people will reach out and say, hey, Nick, can you come and give me a hand with this? So I think the space going forward, mate, is keep working with the individual, the one-on-one clients that I have.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm making a difference with their personal lives and whatever. And I enjoy it. It's just they jump on once a month and we have a Zoom, and then I'm available for text or voice message any other day when they need something.
Awesome.
That space is great. And working with elite sporting teams is like really fun.
Yeah.
But they're valuable chess pieces too. These are guys worth $1 million each. And
right.
But I do want to do some more stuff in education. So I'm really, even talking to some people today, I'd love to come and roll out some of my framework with staff or the coaching staff at a team, at a school, and do things like create common language and common behaviour. So the authenticity of those people can then flourish because they've already got some guidelines in place and some. I feel like I'm rabbiting on here, man, but like at the end of my session, then everyone walked away with at least a couple of things that they can immediately put into their lives.
Yeah.
Their coaching or their teaching or whatever it is.
And interactions.
Yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
hang my hat on that a little bit, and also the fact that all the ideas and activities are just remixes of someone else's. I'm not precious about the IP, and I'm sharing everything, and I will totally share everything. But you've got to be authentic, otherwise everyone's got a good BS detector, and kids and teams will know that if it's not really you.
Yes, I agree
Oh, it's
with
that game I saw that
And
guy do.
they'll
It's
read
like,
right through it too. They'll know it right away.
Yeah,
That's
of course.
really cool. Buddy, personally, I'm really excited to be asking you these questions and spending this time together with you. For us at Phase, it's our 9th year. We've been doing this and just trying to get better every year. If you could tell people what your experience has been at Phase, that you've done 3 now, I think, and
Yeah.
you've also done some other work with 21st Century Learning. What would you tell people?
I'll tell them to dive in, and the boys from the School of Play mentioned it, but walk in, have a breath, and just be super vulnerable to take on any ideas. I think anyone that comes, everyone should come, because I think these conferences are great, and you just got to wait for this. There'll be a moment in every session that you go to that will be the aha moment, and the light bulb will go off, and you'll be like, yeah, that resonates with me. But my challenge to everyone would be, and it's to you and myself as well, is don't walk out of here and just go back to your old habits.
Yeah.
Because I think so often we do that. We listen to someone speak at PD, that was really great. And then you're just like, okay, it's Tuesday now, I better do this.
Yeah.
Come to these conferences with the thought of you don't have to be bad to get better. Soak it up.
That's awesome. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time, buddy, and I can guarantee you we'll see you again.
Thanks,
All right.
Carlos. I appreciate it, buddy.
All right, talk to you soon.
Hi, I'm Sarah Cole and committee member for Phase AP. I'm here with Dr. Anne Wenstrom, one of our rising star speakers from this year's conference. And I'd love to just let our listeners know a little bit about you.
Yeah. So I've lived here in Singapore for 19 years, and I've actually been at Singapore American School for all of those 19 years, and one foot always planted in that elementary PE programming. And so I've been a part of the elementary PE, and now my role has transformed where I wear 2 other hats, which is the professional learning community, and we have professional learning community coaches, and that's one of my roles. It's kind of like a headed department. And then also I have this amazing role of being the employee wellness coordinator at SAS.
Amazing. And I'd love to jump right in, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah.
So what message from your keynote do you hope resonates most with our attendees?
I think the idea of what is possible. And really when I think about all these different educators, different experiences that they've had as a professional, but then also the experiences that they have in their own countries, maybe their host country or it's their home country, and what is kind of possible in those spaces where they're living right now. And I think that is a really crucial thing, is that no one can take what we've been doing at Singapore American School, and it's not a cookie cutter. I really don't want people to also feel like, oh, they're doing this, like this isn't possible. They might have the funds as a nonprofit school. But really where it starts is within us and what's possible. And I think that when I think back to when we started in 2012, it was an idea of start small but dream big, and really start with what is possible right now within our schedules and our structures, and where people are as a culture, as a healthy organizational culture, and how can we actually connect, and how can we be that person that brings people together. So we started, as I mentioned in the keynotes, we started small with Family Fun Day. We did during the in-service days where we created time for wellness, and then just a whole bunch of different offerings and sessions led by teachers that were passionate about wellness. And it wasn't, again, going at the idea that it's not just physical or social emotional. That wellness is, if you're getting together and you're doing clay origami with that pottery teacher, and you're doing these other really cool things, you're walking out in, say, a nearby rainforest, that, you know, those things allow that person to shine with their passions, then it just connects this kind of the ecosystem of wellness, ecosystem of a school to use their superpowers. So I just really hope that resonates, that there is that superpower within the school, that there's possibilities. And then it just really, how I ended is find the advocates, find the motivators in your community. And I would say that a lot of those are within the health PE sport. They know how to motivate a team.
Yeah.
They know how to get people just excited about what they're doing and passions. Those people I know, will always be the biggest advocates within the school.
Yeah, definitely. I love what you said about connection, that powerful question of what's possible.
Yeah.
And even if what's possible is really big, okay, what's the smallest step that we can take?
Yeah.
And finding those advocates and motivators that every school does have. You just have to find them.
And I think too, it's about knowing not only your community, but then knowing that if someone asks me, okay, Anne, what is the entire year program that you're going to do? We offer close to 1,000 different wellness offerings a year at our school. And if someone says, Anne, I need the whole list by the start of the school year, not going to happen. Not going to happen, because it's what we talk about, that customizing, and we talk about individualizing, or just being responsive to what is happening, not only in the world, this whole What Would Jane Do challenge that came really about when Dr. Goodall passed.
Yeah.
And it's like, how can we carry her legacy forward? And so again, it's just getting around with some friends, and that's actually some that started, Steve and Alice Early, they started the Jane Goodall Institute here in Singapore back in 2007, and sitting with them and just like, how can we honor this? And having those legends within your school too. And I think we all have those. And that just, again, we created these things together when we are being responsive to what is happening in the world at that time. So I think that's also something to really think about as possibilities, is how are we connecting people with what is currently happening?
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned that you started this in 2012.
Yeah.
So you've been doing this a long time.
Yeah. And again, it was one of those things where I sat in a meeting where a few of us were just invited. This was a few HR directors ago, and it was really proposed of, hey, this could help us lower our insurance premiums. And what do you think about doing if we put together a corporate wellness program? And I was right away, my hand was up. Who wants to be on the committee, or who wants to be a part of this? And even though, like, at that time, that's what it was, corporate wellness was the buzzword. But with the idea of that there's so many different, again, when you think about from our backgrounds as health and PE teachers, the wellness wheel, and you know how it all connects. It's just, it takes time to get there. We didn't have the funds. We didn't have, really, it was, our whole vision at that time was start small, dream big.
Yeah.
That's it. And so, yeah, it was a lot of just, okay, what did we learn from this? What was the feedback we got? One of the things I faced, and we can maybe talk about challenges later, but at that time it was, how do we get people that maybe don't want to come into school, the idea of go to work on a weekend or go to and then that's where it's really reframing this is not, we do call it working on wellness, but this is not, you're not going to be evaluated on this.
Yeah.
This is not mandatory. This is for you. So those things is then really our local and international communities, they started being like, okay, I want to be involved with this, and really doing cool things and what they wanted. They were giving feedback of, these are some of the things I'm interested in, and then really programming from there.
And I know you've touched on a couple of the challenges at the beginning and the opportunities. And I wonder, what advice would you give to someone who's listening to this and going, I want to start small and dream big? What advice might you give them based on your experiences of the challenges and opportunities doing this? Yeah,
really to lean into those challenges. anything with change management or change leadership is that change is hard for some people, and maybe their perspective of what they've experienced and perceived sometimes clouds what might be possible. So one of the things I heard a lot was, why should the school focus on wellness? Why don't educators, they need to focus on their wellness outside. We're not worried about that employee. We want them to be the best professional. And that's where it's like, no, we really want them to be good people.
Yeah.
And doing that in your own time is you've got educators doing their lesson plans. You're not paying that educator. If we're doing that, this isn't not a 9-to-5 job, right? They're doing a lot of their planning. If they're a PE health, I'm sure that they're doing some sort of a after-school activity, a sport, a program already.
Yeah.
So how can we give back? And how can we nurture their wellness? And that it's not necessarily about, it really is, if you're taking care of that person and if you're allowing them to nurture their wellness. And I'm not saying that you have to okay, now it's you don't have to teach your classes. You can go work out in the gym. No, our school, we've got boundaries, right? But it's about allowing a bit of that autonomy. These things aren't mandatory, but we're giving you access.
Yes.
Because when a person has access, I think one of the things I hear more than anything from educators is and how do you find all these different activities and events and stuff? Yeah, again, this is a skill that I've been building. It's that networking and building connections and relationships and partnerships. But it's even though if someone doesn't access everything, and there's no way you could, I do a lot of the wellness activities. I can't do it all, but I can program it and give people access to it, because if that's what they need, that makes a difference. And the funds, one thing again, with the limited amount of time I had with my keynote, I didn't really get into, this is not free. There are some free activities that we're connecting, but we are subsidizing. And so again, the financial wellness, we do have different courses and different one-on-ones and stuff that they can do for their retirement and stuff like this to nurture financial wellness. But it's also, when you think about that, you can have, whether that company is giving us a discount and then we further subsidize, now it's making it accessible to go to. And more than just maybe that one thing that your really cool experience you want to do with a family, now you can afford to do that as an educator here in Singapore, a very expensive city. So I think that has been a really great thing. And I would say the last thing with the challenge is, when you're seeing the ripple effect go to the students, that's when you've got leadership, that's when you've got parents. Because when some of the things, and I wanted to share that more of the partnerships, and then all of a sudden, then you have these kids having access to, the example I gave to my keynote was with Hamilton or with Wicked, when now they have access to these workshops and to these experiences where it's just creates a sense of awe in these kids, right? And it's these things that is, again, currently happening. There's things that are an event, performances happening, and then now they're coming to your school. How cool is that? And so when parents are seeing their kid have access to Dr. Jane Goodall, Dr. Sylvia Earle, marine biologists, and we all have this at our school. We all bring in different leaders. But I think it's when these things can be connected and you can work together, not only outside groups together, but as internal, as a kind of committee, as a school. It's amazing.
Gosh, that sense of awe, and like you said, those connections that you make, those relationships, those networks that you begin to tap on, and how that ripple effects out. And so when you always hear the phrase, happy teachers, happy students, happy parents.
Yeah.
And it's almost like that flow through and bringing that opportunity. Yes, it becomes student-centered, but actually let's take a step back. We can look after those teachers, but then the parents are getting involved too. It's you mentioned on your keynote about families doing things together.
Yeah.
Not just, oh, me after school doing this, or I got plus plus.
Yes.
It's a family
Yep.
bringing those relationships closer.
Yeah. So, some of the programming is looking after what's, like I said, it's the professionals, it's the people. We're looking at the parent, and then also the place. Or how are we making that school, our place of where we live, a big part of our day, but then our place like Singapore, and even further than this tiny red dot, we're trying to make this a better place. So yeah, I think that parent thing that was really came through in my research. There's a lot of people saying if I'm spending time away from my child, like I can't for work. We're seeing that even throughout the conference. There's people, if you're living here in Singapore, they have to pop out to their kids' sporting event and then they're coming back, or they're coaching too. So it's being able to nurture that parent and being able to have those moments of awe, because I tell you what, a lot of those educators, they're giving so much to other people's children.
Yeah.
That if they can have that experience with their own child, is just magical. And whether it's a book reading that they get to, or a cultural dance event that they're going to, or there's so many cool things that are programmed here in Singapore for kids, but I would say that there are things around the globe where they can connect with the community. And so it's been a huge game changer in our programming.
So finding the networks, connecting with those relationships in your own community, wherever you are in the world.
Yeah.
And going, okay, what's possible here?
Yeah.
And I'd love to close with, what is your hope for well-being in schools for the future?
I would say that my hope is really in the doing. It's just, I really hope that we start to look at the comprehensive wellness. And I know that employee wellness is one piece of that. But what are we doing with students? What are we doing with educators? What are we doing with the parent community? What are we doing as an organization?
Yeah.
And then how are these linked together? And we're working on that at Singapore American School.
Yeah.
And you hear that we all have our different kind of programs and initiatives and stuff that we're sharing. But I think we're really primed in education to put wellness at the forefront.
Yes.
And that really, we've got different trends of DEI, we have trends of different safeguarding, we have different trends of social emotional wellness. It really is encompassing of, as a wellness and a health and educator, you're really looking at that. That's SEL, that's your social and emotional wellness. Yeah. All of that packaged in. And like those umbrellas that actually, if we put wellness as the umbrella, now a lot of these other things feed into one another, and now it's integrated. It's things that we know that, okay, like what we're doing is supporting the other.
Yes, integrated and aligned.
Yes.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us.
Oh, no problem.
And this is our rising star, Dr. Anne Wenstrom. If you would like to nominate a rising star, head on over to phase.community to share your nomination.
All right, thank you.